Hi, this is Jon Harrison from VIP2. You know, everywhere I go, no matter what organization that I'm visiting, I hear this comment: we have such a hard time finding good talent for our organization. And I know it's universal regardless of the industry. So, you know, one thing I think is so critical, obviously, is how do you hire awesome people? How do you hire people with great values that are coachable and get along well with others and all that type of thing? And I think, you know, the first point of that is to just never compromise when you hire. Because we are desperate for talent, I think there's lots of organizations out there that are hiring pretty quickly. Maybe they do an hour, maybe 2 hours of interviewing and make an offer. And I think in the back of our minds, we think, well, if the person's terrible, we'll be able to, you know, move on from that person, terminate them, whatever. But that's really, I think, risky, because a small percentage of people will be awful, but maybe a larger percentage of people will be mediocre. And if you hire quickly and now they come join your organization, they may hang around for 10 or 20 years and just be mediocre at best. And I think that's something that, you know, we can certainly dig into more as we go forward, because that's a hint that helps a lot. The other thing I would say is, in interviews, make sure you are setting your expectations very high, both in terms of what behaviors you expect out of people and the performance or results you expect out of people. Sometimes we gloss over those, or we talk about the easy ones like attendance and things like that. But if you want people to be team players with positive attitudes, with incredible integrity and all of that, you need to hit that very hard in the interview, because frankly in the interview people will agree to that because they want the job. And now that you've raised the bar on what you expect out of them in terms of behavior and performance, now you have a much better chance of holding them accountable down the road. So another thing, it's so important that organizations had a set of core values, behaviors that are actually written down and practiced every day. And here's why, even in the hiring process, if you're interviewing somebody and obviously you're thinking, well, it's implied that our people should have high integrity and be team players, be respectful to their coworkers and customers and things like that, I wouldn't have that be implied. I would specifically talk about what that looks like in your organization. I would define the words for people and even give them something in writing as they leave that interview that makes them understand that you're not kidding around about this. This is a very serious part of your organization and who you are. You know, I heard just the other day that Chick-fil-A, for example, they will not get people that show up to work there that may have had employment issues in the past, because they know the bar is high at Chick-fil-A. And I think that's what I'm talking about. Make sure those behaviors are spelled out, that you discuss them during the interview, that you even give that to them in writing as they leave the room, that they know that there's no question about what you mean by teamwork, integrity, respect. And of course that looks different if it's a waiter at a restaurant versus a desk employee versus a truck driver, whatever. How that plays out might look differently based on your industry or the job itself, but the concepts are generally universal and really need to be spelled out. So in our workshop that we're going to have later this fall about how to hire values-driven, informed, passionate people, we will dig into these topics in much more depth.